What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Zamboni. I am an herbalist and astrologer, and it is time to talk about the astrology of the week ahead. Thank you, as always. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sending me a tip via Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. A bunch of y'all looked out because earlier this week I had a whole situation with a hornet and I ended up breaking a window. Y'all helped me out with that. Thank you so much for doing that. Thank you for joining the Patreon, where you can get a report of auspicious times that are good to launch, as well as times to avoid. Thank you for checking my song out on Spotify. It's called Can't Help Myself. It is dope and I think you'll like it. Thank you for checking that out. Thank you for all of those things. Let's talk about the astrology of the week ahead. So this week we have the full moon in Aquarius is kind of our major thing that we have going on this week. So we still have, basically, we're still doing Leo stuff opposite to Saturn and square to Mars, Uranus, and the North Node in Taurus. There's a couple of things that's going on here. First is actually that Mercury has moved out of Leo and into Virgo. That's helpful. I appreciate that as a thing, just because Mercury in Virgo is not in position to get messed up by any of that stuff. Mercury in Virgo is going to make a trine to the Taurus stuff. We like a trine. It feels helpful and supportive. It is averse to Saturn. It is averse to the stuff in Leo. It's just like not having too much trouble. In the meantime, Mercury in Virgo is maybe able to deal with information in some kind of really helpful and useful way. So if we're looking for medicine this week, then Mercury in Virgo is going to be one of the ones that we want to really lean on for support and for intelligibility, for making information understandable and therefore useful in some kind of way. So Mercury in Virgo is really helpful for us. If you want to lean into that, then it's a really good week to do some journaling or something like this. Data analytics of any sort. Maybe you've been doing some journaling for a number of years and you want to look back at some dates and see what kind of things have been going on for you. Maybe you're leaning into desire work or something like this. You want to see what's been working, what's not been working, what kind of feelings you've been feeling because you aren't feeling those things today. Mercury in Virgo is going to be really good for all that. That's great, because the rest of us is a mess. We've got Sun in Leo. So the Sun in Leo is going to make a square to Uranus in Taurus and the North Node. So that puts the Sun on the bends. That means that we are halfway through the eclipses. And so these eclipses, which are taking place in North Node in Taurus, South Node in Scorpio, those happen every 6 months. So those things where we would expect some kind of like jarring, corner turning kind of event, usually around eclipses. So we're halfway in between those situations. And so we might take a look at what has been going on and see what kind of progress we've been making and these kinds of things, right? While we do that, we can expect that the Sun in Leo is going to get a finger waggy kind of situation. It's going to be like, this is not as much fun as the Sun in Leo likes to have. The Sun in Leo likes to be like, well, here I am. It's party time. We should, like hot girl summer. That's what the Sun in Leo wants to do. Meanwhile, Saturn in Aquarius, opposite to that, is like, let me tell you about some hot girls. Let me tell you what y'all need to do. I don't want to hear none of, right? So Saturn is like trying to rain on everybody's parade, making sure that everybody is not having as much fun as they want to have, and it's Saturn in Aquarius. It's for the greater good, or it's for, efficiency and management or something like this. You know what I mean? Saturn has his reasons, certainly, but it definitely feels like a rain on the parade kind of situation, especially from the vantage point of the Sun in Leo. Personally, myself, I have seen this showing up. It looks like beef with, there's like an age disparity that wants to show up. There are grown folks and there are younger people, and the grown folks are, sort of not feeling what the younger folks are doing, because the younger folks don't give a shit about the rules or the way that it's always been done, the traditions and this kind of thing. The younger folks think that the old folks have lost their minds and have destroyed everything, and so fuck them. the older folks are like, you are a baby and you don't know anything yet, so slow your roll, young blood. And so there's this is constant, right? This is not news to anybody. Like, but old people have been talking shit on young people for generations, kids these days, right? But those kinds of things feel like they want to come to a head, both last week and this week, especially since we have Mars in Taurus there, still hanging out with Uranus. We're still an orb, Mars with that square to Saturn, and then that's just activated immediately by the sun. The sun is first going to square Uranus, and then is going to oppose Saturn, and then is going to square Mars. And so it's just like one thing after the next. It is a consistently unexpected. Like it's shaky, it's rough and tumble out here. You know what I mean? Like we can expect skirmishes. We can expect skirmishes where you didn't think there was going to be one. We can expect that there will be unexpected victors of those skirmishes sometimes. Sometimes there'll be beef between, maybe it's not old folks and young folks, maybe it's management and employees, or maybe it is establishment voices versus upstart types. We can think that there will be these clashes between these different types of people, and that the one that you expected to win might not win in every case. And so there's definitely a chaotic element here, which is great for the magically operant, right? There's something really, we can lean into the specter of possibility here, right? There's something here that is possible because of this chaos that was not possible when everything was rigidly structured. And so I feel like that gets back to what I mentioned last week about hilarity and contact improv and that sort of thing, right? There's this sense of like, thinking with like Donna Haraway's response ability, right? The idea that like responding, one's ability to respond is useful or necessary to lean into in order to help generate the more beautiful world that our hearts know is possible, right? There's something here with Uranus. I've been thinking about Uranus as like the mighty oak tree, right? There's this sense of like it's big and robust, it's thick, it's aromatic, like all of the Taurus things, right? And Uranus, so Taurus is that, and then Uranus is the unexpected shake, table flipping moment, right? And so I've been thinking about the windstorm or the thunderstorm or something like this. The mighty oak tree would prefer to stay solid and still, but instead we get a rollicking breeze, which may then actually break that tree. And so this is a moment, Uranus throughout Taurus, and having to deal with this Mars here, which is shaking things up, and dealing with the Saturn, who is also concerned with stability and sameness and routine and order and that sort of thing. So there's a conflict and tension there. But I feel this very much as a time for the oak tree to learn the lessons of the cattails. We can think about the cattails under that same thunderstorm. What they're going to do is they're going to feel the wind, they're going to feel the breeze, and they're just going to lay down. And then when the sun comes out in the morning, we stand back up again. Hi, here we are again. Let's have a party, right? So where the oak tree, who wants to be solid and stable, will break under that storm, the cattails will just lay down and will live to stand another day, right? And so there's something here about flexibility, about response ability, one's ability to respond to wild and crazy situations. Some conflict is likely to take place this week. It's not going to be, like this is conflict that we've seen before. We saw a bunch of conflict last week. We're going to see more of this same kind of thing. We might see some escalation of whatever geopolitical stuff might have been going on last week, right? We might see a continued escalation of that situation. We might see an escalation of whatever conflict you might have been seeing in your own life. And so one's ability to be flexible and respond to that in a way where you might be able to tell a joke about it, where you might be able to, right, we can remember that laughter is the best medicine. So how can we find the medicine in potentially unexpected, surprising, raucous, conflict, tension times? That's my time. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sending me a tip via Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. Thank you for getting on Patreon with me. Thank you for getting on Spotify with your boy Zamboni Funk. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll see y'all next.